7:33 p.m. We're located at 2350 South 25th Avenue in the Village Chambers. Mr. Clerk, can we get a roll call, please?
Yes, we can, Madam President. Trustee Chalmalave,
Here.
Trustee Senior,
Here.
Trustee Mayor Thompson,
Here.
Trustee Shelby,
Here.
Trustee Armour,
Here.
Trustee Miller,
Here.
and I think we have Trustee Abraham on the phone. Trustee Abraham? Trustee Abraham?
She might be on mute. Trustee Abraham?
Yeah.
Okay, so we need a motion to allow her to participate electronic. She's still got her health situation going on.
So can we have a motion, please, to allow Trustee Abraham to participate electronically due to health?
I will. I do.
Need a second.
I second.
Okay, it's been properly motioned by Trustee Senior, seconded by Trustee Shelby, to allow Trustee Abraham to participate electronically due to health. I'll take a roll call. Trustee Chalmalave,
Yes.
Trustee Senior,
Yes.
Trustee Shelby,
Yes.
Trustee Armour,
Yes.
Trustee Miller,
Yes.
and Trustee Abraham.
Yeah.
This carries 6-0. Madam President, we do have a quorum.
Thank you.
Can we all please stand for the Pledge of Allegiance?
To the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
Really? I did that.
Before we go on to the next item, Pledge of Civility, can I ask any of the board members, do you have a copy of that? Because I failed to print a copy for myself and I didn't memorize it.
What was your question?
Pledge of Civility. Madam President, with that being said, are you okay with us skipping that for this meeting?
I may have it.
Unless you have it.
Yes, because I can't pull it up like right now.
Okay, so we're going to forego the Pledge of Civility just for this meeting. I do apologize for that, and at this time, I'm going to ask for a moment of silence. Okay, thank you. On the item 2, public comment. I have received no public comment from the audience or anything on email, so we'll move on to item 3, communications. Madam President, I don't have any communications. Do you have anything we want to? Okay. Moving on to item 4, consideration to approve the following minutes. And before I mention the minutes, I did get corrections for both the May 15th and the May 1st minutes, which were made, and I did give copies out to the board. There's one minor correction for May 1st, I believe, that will be distributed to you tomorrow in the email. So at this time, I'm going to ask for a motion to approve the minutes from the May 15th, 2023 regular board meeting.
I make to approve. Second.
It's been properly motioned by Trustee Senior, seconded by Trustee Chalmalave. Madam President?
Thank you, Mr. Clerk. Trustee Abraham, you have any questions about the minutes?
No, I do not.
Trustee Senior?
No questions.
Trustee Chalmalave?
No questions.
Trustee Shelby?
No questions.
Trustee Armour?
No questions.
Trustee Miller?
None.
Mr. Clerk?
Roll call. Trustee Abraham.
Yeah.
Trustee Chalmalave.
Yes.
Trustee Senior.
Yes.
Trustee Shelby.
Yes.
Trustee Armour.
Yes.
Trustee Miller.
Yes.
And the minutes carry 6-0. Thank you all. Next item. Approval of the minutes from the May 1st, 2023 regular board meeting, which were tabled from our last board meeting.
Motion to approve. I second.
It's been properly motioned by Trustee Armour, seconded by Trustee Shelby. Madam President?
Thank you, Mr. Clerk. Trustee Abraham, you have any questions or comments?
No.
Thank you. Trustee Senior?
No questions.
Trustee Chalmalave?
No questions.
Trustee Shelby?
No questions.
Trustee Armour?
No questions.
Trustee Miller?
None.
Mr. Clerk?
All right, roll call. Trustee Abraham.
Yeah.
Trustee Chalmalave.
Yes.
Trustee Senior.
Yes.
Trustee Shelby.
Yes.
Trustee Armour.
Yes.
Trustee Miller.
Yes.
And this carries 6-0. And once again, I want to thank Trustee Armour for all of her pointing out all of the mistakes that we had and corrections. Thank you. Next, item 5, consideration to approve expenditures. Grand total of all funds, $621,921.81 for the period ending 6/21/23.
Motion to approve.
Second.
It's been properly motioned by trustee Armour, seconded by trustee Senior. Madam President.
Thank you, Mr. Clerk. Trustee Shelby, Chairwoman of the Finance Committee, will you please read the warrant list?
Okay, this is the warrant list of June the 21st, 2023. The vendors are Alexander Equipment Company, $56,602.18. AT&T, $38,736.05. B&F Construction Code Services, $13,193.38. Carrie Morgan, $4,882. Ciobra Group, $3,726.38. Comcast Business, $3,797.56. Cook County Department of Public Health, $2,500. Dearborn Life Insurance Company, $2,865.04. Dearborn Life Insurance Company, again, $14,722.50. Eco Clean Maintenance Incorporated, $2,504. Illinois Counties Risk Management Trust, $356,761.50. Lincoln National Life Insurance, $6,055.51. K-Law Incorporated, $9,237.85. Montana and Welch LLC, $20,270.45. Paramedic Billing Services Incorporated, $13,705.87. Precise Digital Printing Incorporated, $2,930. Ray O'Haron Company Incorporated, $3,109.76. RJN Group Incorporated, $12,595. SBC Waste Solutions, $4,875. Service Sanitation Incorporated, $2,830. Third Millennium, $3,621.84. Tier Point LLC, $3,039.98. T&T Towing and Recovering Incorporated, $5,600. The total of expenditures over $2,500 came to $588,161.85, which is 90% of total expenditures in the amount of $621,921.81. We had manual payments. The vendors are Lakeview Bus Lines Incorporated. The date was June the 14th, 2023. Check number 84689 in the amount of $625. Simone's Catering, the date is June the 21st, 2023. Check number 84690 in the amount of $1,122. The Print Lab 2.0, the date June the 21st, 2023, check number 84691 for $526.25. The total of the manual checks came to $2,273.25. We also had an electronic payment, and the vendor was Chase Credit Card. The payments reflecting as of May the 25th, 2023, and the amount of $14,417.52. The accounts that were affected by these expenditures, we have the general fund in the amount of $584,298.62. We had the garbage fund in the amount of $4,875. With the motor fuel tax fund in the amount of $873.76. The Roosevelt Road TIF fund in the amount of $10,928.20. We have the 17th Avenue TIF North in the amount of $195. We also have the Capital Projects Fund in the amount of $390, and the Water and Sewage Fund in the amount of $20,361.23, again for a grand total of $621,921.81. And Madam President, that concludes my report.
Thank you, Trustee Shelby. Trustee Abraham, do you have any questions or comments about the warrant list from 6/21/2023?
No, I do not.
Thank you. Trustee Senior?
No questions.
Trustee Chalmalave?
No questions.
Trustee Shelby?
No questions.
Trustee Armour?
No questions.
Trustee Miller?
I do, so, never mind, no, I don't.
Okay, thank you. Mr. Clerk, can we get a roll call, please?
Roll call. Trustee Abraham.
Yes,
Trustee Chalmalave.
Yes.
Trustee Senior.
Yes.
Trustee Shelby.
Yes.
Trustee Armour.
Yes.
Trustee Miller.
Abstain.
And it carries 5-0 with one abstention. Thank you. Next, motion to approve the bills for $789,513.92 for the period ending 6/1/2023.
Motion to approve.
I second.
It's been properly motioned by Trustee Armour, seconded by Trustee Shelby, correct?
Yes.
Okay, thank you. Madam President, open for discussion.
Thank you, Mr. Clerk. Trustee Shelby, the Finance Chairwoman, will you please read the warrant list from June 1st, 2023?
Yes, thank
Thank
you.
you.
Okay, the vendors are a Vantage Trailer in the amount of $11,441. AT&T, $5,423.11. Blue Cross and Blue Shield of Illinois, $135,120.64. Broadview Westchester Joint Water Agency, $248,573.27. Seober Group, $24,461.72. ComEd, in the amount of $5,098.64. Comcast Business, $3,797.56. Commonwealth Land Title, $140,000. Dragan Spasovic, in the amount of $3,022.58. Edwin Hancock Engineering, $33,718.09. Fabia Rivera, in the amount of $2,500. Fire Alarm Fireworks Company, $8,500. H&H Electric Company, $3,060.14. Home Depot Credit Services, $2,888.78. We have iWork Systems Incorporated, $3,500. Lincoln National Life Insurance, $5,348.25. Jerry Mora, in the amount of $3,959. Johnny Lamar Williams Jr., $2,800. The Law Offices of Philip M. Finaro, $4,901.30. The Midwest Fence Corporation, $11,800. The Midwest Mechanical, $2,704.93. Music Magic Moments, $2,650. Patino's Music LLC, an amount of $7,035. Site One Landscape Supply, $4,957.35. Staples, in the amount of $3,264.76. We have Total Parking Solutions Incorporated, $41,240. We have Train US Incorporated, $4,039. And West Cook County Solid Waste Agency in the amount of $10,691.01. The total of expenditures over 2,500 came to $736,496.13, which is 93% of our total expenditures in the amount of $789,513.92. We had manual payments. The vendors are L. Pamani Ford Sales Incorporated. The date was May the 17th, 2023. Check number 84586 in the amount of $50,165.26. We had Keith Caldwell, date May 30th, 2023. Check number 84587 in the amount of $600. Another check for Keith Caldwell, May the 30th, 2023. Check number 84588 in the amount of $400. And the total of the manual checks came to $51,165.26. And the following accounts were affected by these funds. The general fund, the general fund in the amount of $427,567.17. We have the garbage fund in the amount of $10,691.01. We have the motor fuel tax fund in the amount of $5,952.76. We also had the CDBG fund in the amount of $2,222.09. We have the Roosevelt Road TIF fund in the amount of $66,790, and the Water and Sewage fund in the amount of $276,290.89. Again, for a grand total of $789,513.92. Madam President, that concludes my report.
Thank you, Trustee Shelby. Trustee Abraham, you have any questions or comments about the funds from June 1st, 2023?
No, I do not.
Trustee Senior?
No questions.
Trustee Chalmalave?
No questions.
Trustee Shelby?
No questions.
Trustee Armour?
No questions.
Trustee Miller?
No questions.
Mr. Clerk, can we get a roll call, please?
Yes, we can, Madam President. Trustee Abraham.
Yes,
Trustee Chalmalave.
Yes.
Trustee Senior.
Yes.
Trustee Shelby.
Yes.
Trustee Armour.
Yes.
Trustee Miller.
Yes.
And Madam President, this carries 6-0 to pay the bills. Thank you. Next, item 6, presentations. We have none. Item 7, village officer reports, which are given at each second meeting of the month. We're going to start with the building department, Commissioner David Upshaw. And in his absence, we have Building Inspector Aaron Hanna.
Good evening.
I'm Aaron Hanna, Code Enforcement Officer for the Village of Broadview. The May 2023 Village for Broadview Building Department report is on file with the mayor's and clerk's office. The highlights are as follows. Okay, village-owned property located at 2412 South 9th Avenue has been demolished. The View Restaurant at 1701 Roosevelt Road, that project is complete. The Red Door at 151921 Roosevelt Road, that project is complete as well. Ongoing project which are underway, Housing Forward, which is located at 1014 through 1020 Roosevelt Road, that project is underway. Laundry Grill, 1500 Roosevelt Road, that project is underway. And Helios, 2150 Parks Avenue, that project is on the way as well. I'll entertain any questions at this time.
Thank you, Aaron. Trustee Abraham, you have any questions for Mr. Hanna?
no, I do not.
Trustee Senior?
No questions.
Trustee Chalmalave?
No questions.
Trustee Shelby?
No questions.
Trustee Armour?
Is this where I asked the question on, in the, well, I have a question, but not at this time.
Okay, thank you. Trustee Miller?
No questions.
Thank you, Mr. Hannon. Mr.
Thank you.
Clerk?
Next is the Finance Department, Finance Director Tom Hood.
Thank you. Good evening, Board, Madam President.
Good evening.
The first month of the fiscal 2024's report is been filed. What I wanted to briefly touch upon here is the abatements that you guys are voting on tonight. There's a little bit of confusion exactly what that is. So when we do a tax levy, we're driven by the PTEL law. And in addition to what we can levy through there, we also levy for outstanding debt. Now, it is kind of automatic. If the village owes money, has outstanding bonds, they're going to add it to our tax levy, unless we do an abatement. What an abatement is for bonds that we have issued that are being paid through another source other than property taxes. So when we abate a bond, that just means it's not going to get included with the levy, so our residents will pay a slightly smaller property tax bill. And that's what you're being asked to do tonight. The other thing that was pointed out before the meeting was, for the last 20 years, we've been abating multiple bonds. Last year, we paid off to 2003 and 2015. We no longer have to abate it because they don't exist. They're paid in full. What we're asking to do tonight is to abate the 2018 capital improvements bond that we used for the building. And what that'll do is reduce the amount of the levy by roughly $1,050,000. Okay? Any questions about the process or what exactly an abatement is?
Trustee Abraham, you have any questions for Director Hood?
No, I do not.
Trustee Senior?
No.
Trustee Chalmalave?
You said that it's not from the property taxes?
Correct. There's several different types of bonds. There's general obligation bonds, which are paid directly through property taxes. There are alternative revenue bonds that are paid by another source. That is exactly what this 2018 issuance is. Now, if something would happen where the other source wouldn't pay it, they would default to general obligation, then they would go on the tax levy. But the way it's been set up is we don't want to lay everything out on our residents. We want to find some other way to pay for this as we move forward. Plus, it leaves us with a pretty good chunk of general obligation bonds in case something comes up in the future. We won't be constrained by our inability to borrow money. So we're kind of looking out in the future for opportunities that we might decide tomorrow, 10 years from now, that we need to borrow money for without locking it up for 20 years. And that's kind of what they did with the 2003 bond. They did a large street bond that we paid for 20 years, and we had that subtracted out of the total amount of general obligation bonds that we could issue. What we're trying to do is avoid that and have the ability, if needed. There are no plans to issue any general obligation bonds, but if we need to, we have the ability. It's like having an empty credit card, kinda. You know, we're paying our bills on time, but if there's an emergency or something comes up, maybe we might go out and at least we have the opportunity to look at it.
And these sources were, what are these?
It can be many different things. This particular bond is funded through the rollover bond, which is a special increment that the village is able to do annually. And there's two uses. It can only do two things: pay off debt or capital projects. So we use it to pay off our debt. Some of these bonds can be supported by sales tax. Other bonds could be supported by water revenue. Basically, anything other than taxes that we have, we could bond out, but that just puts us in a tighter and tighter position. Because once you start down that road, who knows where it'll end.
Thank you.
Thank you, trustee. Trustee Shelby?
No questions?
Trustee Armour?
I definitely have a question. But not at this time. We're not at that point of the agenda yet.
Okay.
All right.
Thank you, trustee Miller.
No questions.
Thank you. Thank you, Director
you.
Hood.
Next is our Fire Department Acting Chief, Matt Martin.
Good evening, Mayor, Board of Trustees, everyone in attendance, residents.
Good evening.
The Fire Department monthly report is on file with the Mayor's office and the Clerk's office. I'll entertain any questions in a few moments. I just want to touch on some highlights from this past month. We're now in the summer weather. We've had a very good month with the weather that's now here with the nicer temperatures. I just want to touch on a few highlights of my report. Calls for service this month was 263, and we had 720 hours of training, which is up due to the nicer weather. We're able to get outside and do a little bit more, which is great. So it's good to see. And I just want to acknowledge that we had the wonderful Juneteenth event, and I wanted to say thank you to the mayor, board of trustees, police chief, public works, library, school, and to everybody else. If I missed you, I apologize. Building department, village administrator, finance, everyone. We had a great event. I just wanted to say thank you for that, and I thought it was absolutely wonderful. Everybody worked well in partnership together, and I thought it was a great 3 days. I got to meet a lot of awesome residents. It was a really, really good experience, so thank you.
You're welcome.
You're welcome.
And I'll entertain any questions you have.
Thank you. Trustee Abraham, you have any questions for Acting Chief Martin?
No, I do not.
Trustee Senior? No questions. Trustee Chalmalave?
No questions.
Trustee Shelby?
No questions.
Trustee Armour?
No questions.
Trustee Miller?
No questions.
Thank you, Chief.
Thank you all.
Thank you. Next is our Police Department, Chief Thomas Mills.
Good evening, Mayor, trustees, residents.
Good evening.
My monthly report is in the mayor's packet as well as on file with the clerk's office. Just a few small things. For May of 2023, the Maywood Police Department responded to 1,137 calls as compared to 1,090 in April, resulting in a 4.31% increase. The Ike 911 Communications Center received 3,386 calls for service for Broadview and Maywood compared to 3,284 calls for service in April with an increase of 3.1%. Our Ike 911 telecommunicator certification process, I'm very happy to announce that all 13, both Broadview and Maywood telecommunications have passed all their certification tests, and we're waiting our licensing from Loyola as well as the state of Illinois. I would be remiss if I cannot acknowledge Director Reyes and Lieutenant Mike Acom. They took the lead on that, and we never really recovered from COVID and getting the training that was needed. And they searched high and low. They sent some out. They did a lot of the online training, and like I said, they are all 13 of our telecommunicators are certified for emergency medical dispatch, where they can provide service for the residents and stakeholders and business in the Village of Broadview. We also took part on COPS on a rooftop. We raised $1,652 for that, as well as we also took part in the Special Olympics Torch Run, which was a phenomenal event. I'm really proud to say our recruit that's in Celia now, he finished first, and our two new recruits and Officer McElvaney finished second. So it is a testament that the village may be getting younger in our police, but they are in good shape and doing great work. It was a very hard run. I think it was almost 5 miles. And the worst part of it was at the end, they had to go up the bridge at 25th Avenue into Westchester versus before they took that bridge first. So it was hard, and it was very hot that day. And we also have a new social worker here in the Village of Broadview, Miss Noshia Washington. She's here 4 days out of a week. And again, Miss Amy Laverty, who was the supervisor pro care, she does an outstanding job for the residents and the officers and everyone here in the Village of Broadview. When we lost Rachel as she got promoted, it seemed like this is the stepping stone. They come here and they work for about 6 months, they get promoted and they go somewhere else. So she did do great work for us, and as promised, she did get us someone else, and she's here on staff so our officers can reach out if they have residents who they feel may need some outside help or any services, they're provided. That's all I have at this time. If there's any questions.
Thank you, Chief. I will add the social worker component to us is a free of charge to the Village of Broadview. So we don't actually pay for the social worker, but we receive the services. So I'm really happy that we can combat mental health to our residents and our staff at the same time. Trustee Abraham, do you have any questions for Chief Martin?
No, I do not, Madam Mayor.
Thank you, Trustee Senior.
No question.
Trustee Chalmalave.
No questions.
Trustee Shelby.
No questions.
Trustee Armour.
No questions.
Trustee Miller.
None.
Thank you, Chief.
Thank you, Chief Mills. Okay, next is our Public Works Department, Director Matt Ames.
Hey, good evening, Mayor, Board of Trustees, everyone in
Good evening.
attendance.
Good evening.
The Public Works monthly report is on file, Mayor's office and the clerk's office, and I will entertain any questions or comments at this time.
Trustee Abraham, you have any questions or comments for Director Ames?
No, I do not, Madam Mayor.
Trustee Senior?
I do have one question. Did they finish the survey for all of the trees that
They did. As a matter of fact, we are finalizing the Tree Keepers app and hope to have that to you guys in the next couple weeks.
Thank you. Trustee Chalmalave?
What is the bee box?
A buffalo box. It is the precast that's placed in the ground for the service valve that goes to a resident's home. So everyone has a shutoff valve, which is surrounded by a buffalo box for the most part in the residential areas, and it's a vault in the commercial industrial areas.
Okay, thank you.
Okay?
That's it, Trustee?
Yeah.
Okay, thank you. Trustee Shelby?
No questions.
Trustee Armour?
No questions.
Trustee Miller?
So, do you have a list of how many complaints you may have received with the transition of the garbage providers? And did you receive any compliments about the new garbage service? Because it seemed to have been something that a lot of the residents on my block kept coming up to me talking about, so I kept redirecting them back to Public Works. So do you have any updates on the transition?
Well, for the most part, the transition is complete, and you're absolutely correct. It was not without its challenges. And the good news is that we have an in-town service provider that has been amenable to all of the lags. So any of the oversights, I know they've worked with the administrator's office, the mayor's office, Public Works, to make sure that any complaint, any legitimate complaint, was taken care of. So, and there's a few things that we will be looking for or implementing, looking toward implementing in the future with the SBC. But for right now, for the most part, yeah, everything is transitioned.
Thank you.
I will add, this weekend, we had Shred Day, and we're so used to the shred truck being here, where they actually take the paper off-site to be shredded. So we got a couple of calls regarding that about the shred, so I'm happy to announce that we did get the certified documents that comes from the shred company to say that it was shredded, and we had over 2 tons of paper that was shredded this weekend. Wow. So SBC, they made good, so the administrator is gonna have a actual, I guess you're gonna call him one day this week to talk about how we actually get the physical truck here versus taking it off-site, because that kind of make people uncomfortable.
Yes, that's right.
Thank you, Director Ames.
You're welcome.
Thank you. And finally, we have our administrative department, Village Administrator Letisa Jones.
Good evening, Mayor, Board of Trustees, and residents. My report is also on file in the mayor's office and also the clerk's office. Just a couple of highlights. I want to thank the mayor and the Board of Trustees for our summer youth work program. We have 20 young people, ages 14 to 16, and they're throughout the Village of Broadview. We got a couple of partnerships. So we have them here at Village Hall. We also have them at Public Works, the Police Department, Fire Department, and Building Department. We also have them in the Mayor's Office, Lindop School, the Library, the Park District, SBC, and the Administration. So we have them spread it all over where they get a balance of what's going on Monday through Thursday. They work from 10 to 2. On Friday, they come here where they meet with their mentors, and it's called Mentor Mentee Fridays, Educational Fridays. So they were able, this week it was show your spirit as far as your favorite sports. So our next one will be about mental health. So we're taking them through the channels of giving them soft skills, not only soft skills, but also educating them on the importance of what leadership looks like in the Village of Broadview. So I do thank you all for that. Also, lastly, our REP program that we have online. I do thank all of the residents who go out and they send us questions, and our department heads are really awesome when it comes to answering the questions, so I do appreciate them. Keep them coming. Right now, we've had 1.6 thousand residents that visit the website. Also, on our page of where questions was left, over 511 people who reached out in order to view, and then there was 313% that took action. The top question, of course, we rate them every week to see what's the top question, and I'm happy to say that Public Works has made it again. Top question is, when is cleanup day, and what can we sit out? So of where that was the top question, and of where Ms. Yara, the administrative clerk in the Public Works Department, handled that question very well. So we do appreciate that. So I just want to tell the trustees and the mayor again, thank you so much for giving us the opportunity to use REP, because it is successful in our community, and residents ask us every type of question you could think of. So we have questions on hand that the department heads and I are going to reach out in order to complete this week as well. So thank you for that opportunity. I will entertain any questions at this time.
Thank you, Administrator Jones. Trustee Abraham, you have any questions for Administrator Jones?
No, I do not.
Trustee Senior?
No questions.
Trustee Chalmalave?
No questions.
Trustee Shelby?
No questions.
Trustee Armour?
Oh, I think that the rep application online, it just seems like the community is responding to that very well. And the mayor has moved us to social media, and it seems to be working. So good job on that. You answered all my questions, because I was going to ask you, well, what kind of questions, the residents was asking. So thank you so much.
Thank you.
Thank you. Trustee Miller?
No question.
So Administrator Jones, I do want to add with the REP application that we had, we did it on a trial basis to see if Broadview would be receptive of it. And after tonight's report, it appears that it is very receptive. So we encourage the residents or our business stakeholders to utilize the application. So what happens is a resident will go onto the app, they'll ask a question, and instead of us sending a text message or an email or a phone call, you actually get a video of the leadership in that respective department respond to the question. And the question stays there on that video where anyone in the village can have access to it. So you may have the same question, but it's a video from the leadership in that respective department. So I'm happy to hear that that's working very well. Also, as it relates to the summer youth workers, they have come in, every time I see any of them, they always smiling. So that's a good sign that something is working right. So I'm happy about that. But I want to keep on task on, just making sure that they have those soft skills, because once they age out of our program, we want to make sure that they can secure a position probably within the village or somewhere else where they can, make a living as a young person and do some really great work. So thank you for your leadership. I really appreciate the hard work that you put into that, because I know a lot of times it's not easy, because they come to us with some challenges, either not having worked a job or some parental issues at home. And so we have to, funnel through all of that. But I tell the staff every day, we are in the business of public service, and we never know who's gonna walk through those double doors, who we gotta entertain that day. So we just treat them with love and kindness every day, so thank you.
Thank you, Mayor.
Thank you, Ms. Jones. All right, Mr. Clerk.
Okay, thank you. Next is item 8, old business. We have none. Bringing us to item 9, new business. Starting with item A motion to authorize the Board of Fire and Police Commissioners to proceed with hiring one firefighter to fill a vacancy for the Village of Broadview, County of Cook, State of Illinois Fire Department.
Motion to approve.
Second.
It's been properly motioned by Trustee Miller, seconded by Trustee Armour. Madam President?
Chief Martin, you wanna tell us about the vacancy?
Yes. In short, right now, the fire department currently has 2 openings, and right now, our current candidate eligibility list has 1 candidate on it. We would like to move forward with extending that person a conditional offer of employment to fill one of the 2 vacancies, and then we'll proceed further after that with running another exam. But right now, this would be for the only eligible candidate on that list
Okay,
to fill 1 spot.
thank you. Trustee Abraham, you have any questions?
No, I do not.
Trustee Senior?
No questions.
Trustee Chalmalave? Trustee Shelby?
No questions.
Trustee Armour?
No questions.
Trustee Miller?
No question.
So I will say this before we vote. In the 2 departments, in the fire department and the police department, and we've all had our challenges with hiring and rehiring and list and all of these different types of things that take place, but we're not the only ones. So although it may seem like the turnover may be high in the fire department, this is a nationwide issue as it relates to the fire service department. So we're gonna continue to see this every so often as we do eligibility testing and then the rehiring to, fill vacancies. So it's nothing new. If you call any fire department and find out where they are with hiring, we're not the only ones. And it's just a challenge right now for all fire service departments. So, Mr. Clerk, can we get a,
Roll call. Trustee Abraham.
Yes.
Trustee Chalmalave.
Yes.
Trustee Senior.
Yes.
Trustee Shelby.
Yes.
Trustee Armour.
Yes.
Trustee Miller.
Yes.
And Madam President, this carries 6-0. Thank you all.
thank you, Chief.
Thank you all.
Next is item B, and I believe, let me just read it. It's an ordinance providing for the abatement of the 2022 tax levy for the General Obligation Bond Series 2003A of the Village of Broadview, County of Cook, State of Illinois.
I'm gonna ask for a motion to strike because it's paid in full.
Exactly.
Motion to strike.
Second.
It's been properly motioned by Trustee Miller, seconded by Trustee Shelby to strike this item from the agenda. I'm going to take a roll call at this point. Trustee Abraham.
Yes.
Trustee Chalmalave.
Yes.
Trustee Senior.
Yes.
Trustee Shelby.
Yes.
Trustee Armour.
Yes.
Trustee Miller.
Yes.
And this has been stricken from our agenda for this evening. Thank you all. Next, item C, it's the same thing. I'm going to read it for the record. An ordinance providing for the abatement of the 2022 tax levy for the General Obligation Bond Series 2015A of the Village of Broadview, County of Cook, State of Illinois.
Motion to strike.
Second.
It's been properly motioned by Trustee Miller, seconded by Trustee Armour. Madam President, do we have any discussion needed for this? Okay. I'm going to take a roll call. Trustee Abraham.
Yes.
Trustee Chalmalave.
Yes.
Trustee Senior.
Yes.
Trustee Shelby.
Yes.
Trustee Armour.
Yes.
Trustee Miller.
Yes.
And this too has been stricken from the agenda. Thank you all. Next, item D, an ordinance providing for the abatement of the 2022 tax levy for the General Obligation Bond Series 2018 of the Village of Broadview, County of Cook, State of Illinois.
Motion to approve.
Second.
Who second?
I
Thank
second.
you. It's been properly motioned by Trustee Miller, seconded by Trustee Shelby. Madam President, open for discussion.
Thank you. Director Hood explained what the abatement was for this particular series, 2018. This is the bond for this building that we're sitting in. Trustee Abraham, do you have any questions or comments?
None.
Trustee Senior?
No questions.
Trustee Chalmalave?
No questions.
Trustee Shelby?
No questions.
Trustee Armour?
I've got my questions answered. No questions.
Thank you. Trustee Miller?
None.
Mr. Clerk, can we get a roll call, please?
Yes, we can, Madam President. Trustee Abraham.
Yes.
Trustee Chalmalave.
Yes.
Trustee Senior.
Yes.
Trustee Shelby.
Yes.
Trustee Armour.
Yes.
Trustee Miller.
Yes.
It's carried 6-0. Thank you all. Next, item E, an ordinance amending Title III, Chapter 6 of the Broadview Village Code related to the regulation of peddlers and solicitors in the Village of Broadview, County of Cook, State of Illinois.
Motion to approve. Second.
It's been properly motioned by trustee Senior, seconded by trustee Chamalave. Madam President.
Thank you. So in previous meetings, I had spoke about us amending ordinances as it relates to the Village of Broadview. Some are outdated and outcoded. This particular peddlers and solicitators, we wanted to tighten it up a little bit because it was brought to my attention that there are certain members within our own staff that solicitate in our own businesses, and I just think that's just inappropriate. So we need to make the rules a little bit stronger, and it applies to all village employees as it relates to how we go solicit businesses for contributions. It's unethical, and it's just should not be allowed, so we need to tighten up this ordinance. Trustee Abraham, do you have any questions or comments?
No, I do not.
Thank you. Trustee Senior?
No questions.
Trustee Chalmalave?
No questions.
Trustee Shelby?
No questions.
Trustee Armour?
No question.
Trustee Miller?
None.
Mr. Clerk, can we get a roll call, please?
Yes, we can, Madam President. Trustee Abraham,
Yes.
trustee Chamalave,
Yes.
trustee Senior,
Yes.
trustee Shelby,
Yes.
trustee Armour,
Yes.
trustee Miller,
Yes.
and it's carried 6-0. Thank you all. Next, item F, an ordinance of the Village of Broadview, County of Cook, State of Illinois, granting a special use for a drive-through, a variance for signage, and a variance for sprinklers at the property commonly known as 3300 Broadview Square.
Motion to approve. Second.
It's been properly motioned by trustee Senior, seconded by trustee Chamalave. Madam President.
Thank you. So this variance and Commissioner Upshaw is not here, but this is for the
Chick-fil-A.
Yep, this is for the Chick-fil-A in the Broadview Village Square. So we had to do a variance for the drive-through. They did go to zoning board. The zoning board made a recommendation, and now it's before the board to make the final approval. Trustee Abraham, you have any questions or comments?
No, I do not.
Trustee Senior?
No questions.
Trustee Chalmalave?
No questions.
Trustee Shelby?
No questions.
Trustee Armour?
Question. The variance for sprinklers, what does that mean? Making room?
Mayor, would you like me to
making room
explain
for
that?
sprinklers?
Yes.
Okay, I did speak with Commissioner Upshaw in advance of this meeting since he was not able to be here this evening. And from what I understand, the village has in its zoning code in its building code, a requirement that any structure with 4 walls has to have sprinklers if it meets certain requirements. Well, what this structure is, it's got 4 walls, but it doesn't have a roof because it is used to house garbage. So since there's no roof, there's really no way to put a sprinkler system. And there's really no, not only is there no way to put a sprinkler system, but there's no real requirement for it. So essentially what this does is this allows them to have an enclosed garbage structure, which will look much nicer than having dumpsters sitting out there. And it doesn't require, it alleviates the sprinkler requirement of that structure. So that's basically what it is.
Thank you.
Anything else, Trustee Armour?
I'm done.
Okay,
That's it.
Trustee
Thank you.
Miller?
So will it have 4 walls then?
It's going to have 4 walls but no roof. But it's got 4 walls like with a gate.
So the
So
gate is considered a wall?
Under the way that the code is interpreted, yeah, so there may, so the Village of Broadview, a long time ago, adopted various building codes. And the building codes are a lot of times written in a very general manner. And when there's something that doesn't fit directly within that building code, then you go for a variance. So I was not the attorney that was at the zoning board. That's Montana and Welch that handles that. However, I did speak with Mr. Upshaw, and he did explain to me that because it was a 4-walled structure that met a certain square footage requirement, I believe, that's why there was a sprinkler requirement, but that it doesn't make sense really for there to be a sprinkler requirement on a garbage housing structure when there's no roof.
How far is the fire hydrant from the garbage structure then? Because what if something is in there that potentially could have caught fire?
Well, a lot of times, I don't know the answer to that question, but I can tell you that when the fire inspections happen before a building occupancy permit is granted, that between the fire inspections, the electrical inspection, all the other inspections that have to happen before the building can actually be occupied and used, that they will look at proximity of fire service equipment and the ability to fight a fire at that
Okay.
location.
So when that
Is
comes
that correct,
before us,
Acting
then
Chief?
let's make sure we've done that. Okay, so I'll look for that when it comes before us later.
Okay.
Thank you.
No problem.
Thank you, Mr. Clerk.
Okay, roll call. Trustee Abraham,
Yes.
trustee Chamalave,
Yes.
trustee Senior,
Yes.
trustee Shelby,
Yes.
trustee Armour,
Yes.
trustee Miller,
Yes.
and this carries 6-0. Thank you all. Next, item G, an ordinance of the Village of Broadview, County of Cook, State of Illinois, granting a special use to allow for animal daycare board facility at the property commonly known as 1750 Parks Drive.
Motion to approve.
Second.
It's been properly motioned by trustee Senior, seconded by trustee Miller. Madam President?
Thank you again. Commissioner Upshaw is not here to discuss this. Is someone from the animal? Okay. So you may want to come. We may have some questions for you. Come to the podium, please. And so this is a special use because over in the industrial area, it's not actually zoned for animal daycare boarding facility, and this is like a doggy daycare. Am I correct?
Correct, yes.
Okay. So trustee Abraham, do you have any questions or comments?
No, I don't.
Trustee Senior?
I don't have any questions, but I'm very excited.
Thank you.
Trustee Chalmalave?
No question.
Trustee Shelby?
Yes, when will this open, and what would your hours be, and?
So we're just waiting on our license, so as soon as we get our licensing, we'll probably be open within probably 3 to 4 weeks. Our hours will be weekdays, 7 a.m. to 7 p.m., and then weekends, 9 a.m. to 3 p.m. And then we'll provide daycare, boarding services, baths, nail trims, things like that. And then eventually, some retail, leash collars, bowls, beds, things like that.
Nice.
Okay, thank you.
You're welcome.
Would it be 24 hours?
So somebody will be on site 24 hours, just to make sure, if the animals need anything, if they need to go outside, if they need to go to the bathroom, some more water, just see a friendly face. There'll be somebody to, facilitate whatever they might need.
Any training?
Yeah, some training. So we, the other owner and I, we have a background in animal behavior. So, once we're fully staffed up and we have more ability to offer more services, training will definitely be on the table.
Take volunteers?
So we're gonna have to look into that. So we're gonna just be part-time employees right now, and then some volunteering. Some customers that we already have want their younger kids to have something to do during the summer and do some type of work with animals. So we'll probably have some volunteering at some point.
Trustee Armour?
Actually, it sounds like a wonderful idea. Hopefully I'll have my little companion by then. So,
Awesome.
yeah.
Trustee Miller?
I have a pooch.
Yes, you
I'm always nervous about how, I guess, the play works. So hopefully, when your business license comes before the board, because that's totally separate now, you can provide like some feedback and background on how you're gonna set up the play, as well as like boarding and housing, and like, because I'm interested in, and that might be kind of off the record too, because I'm interested in knowing about kind of the practices and the process for,
Yeah, absolutely.
just in case, but that was it.
Well, thank you.
Thank you guys for giving me some time.
Yep. You're welcome to Broadview. Clerk?
Okay, we'll have a roll call now. Trustee Abraham?
Yes.
Thank you. Trustee Chamalave?
Yes.
Trustee Senior?
Yes.
Trustee Shelby?
Yes.
Trustee Armour?
Yes.
Trustee Miller?
Yes.
And this carries 6-0. Thank you all. Next is H. Item H, a resolution authorizing and approving an agreement with Edwin Hancock Engineering Company for certain design and engineering services for the 17th Street Bump Out and Water Main Improvement Project for the Village of Broadview, County of Cook, State of Illinois.
Motion to approve.
I second.
It's been properly motioned by Trustee Senior, seconded by Trustee Shelby. Madam President?
Thank you. Director Ames, you want to tell us about this 17th Street bump
Yeah,
out?
this project, Mayor, Board of Trustees, is the west side of the 2100 block on 17th Avenue. It is to improve the water services to the facilities on the west side of 17th Avenue and also to improve the sidewalk safety. So in essence, it would look like the east side in front of the senior housing with exception to as many bump outs because of the lighting. We don't have lighting on the west side of the street, so.
Thank you. Trustee Abraham, you have any questions for Director Ames?
No, I don't.
Trustee Senior?
No questions.
Trustee Malave?
No question.
Trustee Shelby?
No questions. Thank you, Director Ames, for going over this prior to the meeting.
Absolutely.
Thank you so much.
Thank you. You're welcome.
Trustee Armour?
And can you just, I don't have it in front of me, the cost of this for our engineers?
I don't have it in front of me, but if memory serves me, it's right at about $460,000, Tom? A little higher? Okay, all right. And please forgive me, but those estimates, I don't have before me, but I can get them to you if necessary.
So for this, for the attachment, which was part of the packet for the design and engineering fee,
Yeah.
was $39,300, and then the construction engineering fee was $37,500.
Okay.
And that's what made up the 7680?
Yes.
Okay, I
Well,
got it.
I apologize. I'm thinking you're talking about the entire project cost, construction
Just for this
cost.
contract.
Okay.
No, just for
Just for
this
the
one.
engineering agreement. Okay,
Thank you.
yeah, right,
I
okay.
got it. Thank you.
Trustee Miller?
I don't have any questions, but I just want to make sure that we correct the subject on the resolution. So it says bump hour instead of bump out.
Your bump out.
It says bump hour instead of bump out.
What page is
in
that
the
on the
actual
resolution?
packet.
On the ordinance.
What page is that on?
Page
It's so
63?
many pages.
Scribner's error?
Yeah.
Oh, yep, okay. I will amend the title and send the clerk a revised version.
Yes, ma'am. I'll distribute it to the trustees once I receive.
Thank you.
Thank you so much.
Thank you, trustee.
You're welcome.
Mr. Clerk?
Okay, roll call. Trustee Abraham.
Yes.
Trustee Malave.
Yes.
Trustee Senior.
Yes.
Trustee Shelby.
Yes.
Trustee Armour.
Yes.
Trustee Miller.
Yes.
And this carries 6-0. We will get those updates to you when they come. Next, item I, a resolution authorizing and approving an intergovernmental agreement by and between the Village of Broadview and the Metropolitan Water Reclamation District of Greater Chicago for the design, construction, operation, and maintenance of the Village Hall parking lot green infrastructure improvement project in the Village of Broadview, County of Cook, State of Illinois.
Motion to approve.
Second.
It's been properly motioned by Trustee Senior, seconded by Trustee Malave. Madam President.
Thank you, Director Ames. You want to tell us about this parking lot improvement?
Yes, Mayor. Obviously, this is a partnership with MWRD, and I believe the resolution is basically what they would like to see us hold to or perform, mainly the operation and maintenance agreement. And I believe there was one other chief document that they wanted acknowledged, and it was ownership of the parking lot. As it relates to the intergovernmental agreement, it's, I believe the attorneys went over just to make sure that it was consistent to what we've executed in the past, and any special provisions was acknowledged, and I don't believe so.
Thank you. Trustee Abraham, you have any questions for Director Ames?
No. None.
Thank you. Trustee Senior?
No questions.
Trustee Malave?
None.
Trustee Shelby?
No questions.
Trustee Armour?
Question. So MWRDGC is going to reimburse the village 98% of the cost for this work, right?
I don't believe it was 98%, trustee.
Well, I would like to direct this question to the attorney. Can you just go over what the village will be reimbursed and what, we will have to front the money, and then the 2% that Broadview is gonna pay, if I'm understanding this correctly?
So If you look on page 91 of the agenda packet, and going into page 92, that's where it talks about some of the cost allocation. It's not as simple as boiling it down to just like one simple percent, because some of it deals with certain aspects of the project, but on the whole, it is 98%. So it does state, if you look at number 5 here, the village shall provide the MWRDGC, which is, you know, for people that don't know, the Metropolitan Water Reclamation District of Greater Chicago, with a copy of 30% of, or with a, I'm sorry, with a copy of 30%, 60%, and 98% completion construction documents for the MWRD approval. The reimbursement rate, truthfully, I've negotiated this a while back. If you give me a moment, I can look through the agreement. It looks like it might be, you know, I don't want to speak on it until I have a chance to look at this agreement. It's been a while since I've worked on the actual negotiations of this document. The more recent negotiations have just been finalizing some minor language. But if you give me a few moments, I can take a look at that.
And typically, it's not 100% reimbursable.
No.
It is typically an 80-20 split. So we have executed the agreements in the past, and MWRD will reimburse the village 80% of the total cost of the project. But I'll let the attorney confirm that.
Yeah, just let me look it up in a different way. Just give me a moment.
While she's searching, is there any other questions?
I believe what we're looking for is on line 25 of that document, and it says 75.9% of the total construction cost.
75.9?
75.9.
Okay.
Yeah, it wasn't clear. That's the reason why I asked the question. When I went through it, I was just like, is it 98% reimbursement? Is it 20%?
The 98% is not a reimbursement rate. That's for the documents that's basically saying that these are the things you need to do to get these reimbursements. Trustee Miller is correct. Item 25, or paragraph 25 of the agreement does specify that it is $300,000 or 75.9%.
It'll be $300,000. So,
Thank you.
And thank you, Trustee Miller, for finding that.
It was a long document.
It sure is.
It is.
Yeah, it's like,
But if you go
wow.
to the document that's dated May 31st by Hancock Engineering, it outlines everything that this document is about. So it says the construction project will be funded through the Green Infrastructure Program of the MWRD in the amount of $300,000, with the remainder of the cost to be paid through by the Village General's Fund. So the difference will be paid out of our general funds, which is in the Public Works Department's budget.
Thank you.
so as opposed to 80-20, it's what, 75.9, 24.1? So close, but yeah. Okay, and that's also contingent on the funding at the time that is available with MWRD. So we're appreciative for anything that they provided for this project. I know I am.
Okay, I was still kind of going to, so before we close it, the mayor gave point to a document. Which page is that on?
Oh, I don't know, it's in Hancock's engineering write-up. So if you go to that document, I don't know the page number, but it's dated May 31st, 2023. And prior to us even getting to this, where we did the public bidding, the board approved for us to move forward to go into contract with MWRD to do this project.
Okay, that's another place we can look.
Yeah, because I don't see it, but, okay, thank you.
Trustee Miller, do you have any questions?
Nope.
Mr. Clerk, can we get a roll call, please?
Yes, we can, Madam President. Roll call. Trustee Abraham?
Yes.
Trustee Chamalave?
Yes.
Trustee Senior?
Yes.
Trustee Shelby?
Yes.
Trustee Armour?
Abstain.
Trustee Miller?
Yes.
And Madam President, this carries 5-0 with one abstention. Thank you. Next item, J, a resolution awarding the contract and approving an agreement for the Village Hall parking lot project to Triggy Construction, Inc., after competitive bidding, the Village of Broadview, County of Cook, State of Illinois.
Motion to approve.
Second.
It's been properly motioned by Trustee Senior, seconded by Trustee Armour. Madam President?
Thank you. Director Ames, you want to tell us about the Triggy
Just basically, Mayor, that it was sealed bid opening here in the Village Hall, attended by Clerk McGreer, Engineer Chris Baker, and myself. And Triggy was the lowest responsible bidder for this project.
And what's the total amount of the contract?
Mayor?
I'll tell you in 1 second, Mayor.
Yeah, thank you.
Triggy Construction, I don't know Triggy Construction came in at $559,000 and $559,325. The engineer's estimate was $664,075. And so Triggy came in about, over,
105,000.
yeah, over.
What'd you say, Mr. Clerk?
105,000 under the
Thank you, my
engineer's
math, I
estimate.
couldn't get it out of my mouth. Yeah, 105,000 under the engineer's estimate.
Oh, that was good.
Very good.
At 119? Is it 1 point?
What was 119?
What was, I know that's the variance, that's the difference between all the other bidders, but what is the quote for Triggy on this project?
Triggy bid $559,325. And they were $140,000 lower than A-Lamp Construction, which was the next highest bidder. And they were $240,000 lower than Chicagoland Paving. And again, they were $105,000 under the engineer's estimate. And the village has used Triggy Construction, I believe, in the past.
Yeah, we've used them before.
Yes.
Thank you.
Thank you, Mr. Clerk. Can we get a roll call?
Yes, we can, Madam President. Trustee Abraham.
Yes.
Trustee Chalmalave.
Yes.
Trustee Senior.
Yes.
Trustee Shelby.
Yes.
Trustee Armour.
Yes.
Trustee Miller.
Yes.
Thank you, and this carries 6-0. Next item, K, a resolution awarding the contract and approving an agreement for the 2023 paving improvements project to Builders Paving LLC after competitive bidding for the Village of Broadview, County of Cook, State of Illinois.
Motion to approve.
Second.
It's been properly motioned by Trustee Senior, seconded by Trustee Miller. Madam President.
Thank you. Director Ames, you want to tell us about the pavement improvements?
Yes, ma'am. This is, we had a bid opening last week for the capital improvement streets resurfacing for 2023. Once again, attended by Clerk McGreer, Engineer Baker, and myself. And Builders Paving was the lowest responsible bidder for this project. And please, attorney, chime in as it relates to, as it relates to the sheet, you know, the spread, the engineer's estimates. I don't have that before me, so.
If I may, Mayor.
Yes.
Builders Paving came in at $1,242,255. The engineer's estimate was $1,416,980. So they came in about a little bit, about $170,000 lower than the engineer's estimate.
174,725.
That was pretty close. That was good mental math.
You did good.
All right. And then the next highest was at about $1,250,700. That was J.A. Johnson. J. Narduli came in at $1,290,650. Schroeder came in at $1,308,744. Lindahl came in at $1,432,557, and A. Lamp came in at $1,774,032.
Thank you, Attorney Jarosi. Trustee Abraham, you have any questions?
No, I do not.
Thank you, Trustee Senior.
No question.
Trustee Chalmalave.
No question.
Trustee Shelby.
No questions.
Trustee Armour.
No questions. I have a question.
Trustee Miller.
Okay, I see the scope of the project, but it has additionally this project, or the project will involve some minor improvements throughout the village. What's an example of what that could be?
For instance, Parks Drive in front of Huron Electric. where the curb lane has been destroyed by the truck traffic, and the fact that we have, so that's one off-site location. So what we do is we obviously try and make sure that we have enough in our ask from finances, not only to pick up the streets that's been identified, but those that are outside of the areas of the street resurfacing project that may require immediate attention. For instance, the location in the industrial area was one that comes to mind, and anything else that may or may not be located. And the reason that we do this is we get better pricing, obviously. And if in fact we don't utilize the services, the good news is we only pay according to quantity. So if in fact 2 tons of asphalt is used, 2 tons of asphalt is what we will pay for, along with labor services and equipment usage. Yeah, so we've got that in there as a contingent, so for the most part.
Okay, thank you.
Thank you, Mr. Clerk. Can we get a roll call, please?
Yes, we can, Madam President. Trustee Abraham,
Yes.
Trustee Chamalabi,
Yes.
Trustee Senior,
Yes.
Trustee Shelby,
Yes.
Trustee Armour,
Yes.
and Trustee Miller.
Yes.
Madam President, this carries 6-0. Thank you all. Next item, L, a resolution authorizing and approving a contract with Administrative Consulting Specialists, LLC, regarding services related to the 2023 Fire Chief Job Search for the Village of Broadview, County of Cook, State of Illinois.
Motion to approve.
Second.
It's been properly motioned by Trustee Armour, seconded by Trustee Miller. Madam President.
Thank you. So this is with ACS consultant services that we used when we did the police chief search, and they also do the fire chief search as well for us. So they'll do a nationwide search for us for the position of the fire chief. Acting Chief Martin has done a wonderful job, and he is able to apply for the position once the criteria come out, and then I'll identify who will sit on that committee for the interview. The cost of this contract is $10,000. Trustee Abraham, you have any questions or comments?
No.
Trustee Senior?
No question.
Trustee Chalmalave?
No question.
Trustee Shelby?
No questions.
Trustee Armour?
No questions.
Trustee Miller?
None.
Mr. Clerk, can we get a roll call, please?
Yes, we can, Madam President. Trustee Abraham,
Yes.
Trustee Chamalabi,
Yes.
Trustee Senior,
Yes.
Trustee Shelby,
Yes.
Trustee Armour,
Yes.
Trustee Miller,
Yes.
and Madam President, this carries 6-0. Thank you all. Next, item M, a resolution authorizing and approving expenses related to attendance at the National League of Cities Board of Directors and Leadership Meeting in Tacoma, Washington, for the Village of Broadview, County of Cook, State of Illinois.
Motion to approve.
I second.
It's been properly motioned by Trustee Senior, seconded by Trustee Shelby. Madam President.
Thank you. This is the annual summer conference for the NLC leadership meeting. I am on the leadership team for the National League of Cities as it relates to the Environmental Committee. The cost for me to attend is with air travel and accommodations is $1,573.96. The dates is from July 18th through July 23rd. Trustee Abraham, do you have any questions or comments?
No question.
Trustee Senior?
No questions.
Trustee Chalmalave?
No questions.
Trustee Shelby?
No questions.
Trustee Armour?
None.
Trustee Miller?
No.
Mr. Clerk, can we get a roll call, please?
Roll call. Trustee Abraham,
Yes.
Trustee Chamalabi,
Yes.
Trustee Senior,
Yes.
Trustee Shelby,
Yes.
Trustee Armour,
Yes.
Trustee Miller,
Yes.
and this carries 6-0. Thank you all. Next item, N, a resolution authorizing and approving the collective bargaining agreement with the Illinois Fraternal Order of Police Labor Council for the police officers below the rank of sergeant bargaining unit with the Village of Broadview, County of Cook, State of Illinois.
Motion to approve. Second.
It's been properly motioned by Trustee Senior, seconded by Trustee Armour. Madam President.
Thank you. So I see representation from the police officer below the rank of sergeant in the audience tonight. And this is from May 1st, 2020. We just got to this point. So it goes from May 2020 to April 30th, 2024. And I'm okay with everything that's in this agreement, but there is one thing that I'm not in agreements with, and I want to be very upfront and transparent with the public and this board. The police took us to arbitration. and they arbitrated to not turn in receipts for uniforms purchased. The arbitrator sided with the police officers. So us, the Board of Trustees, we have to get all of our stuff approved by this board to spend any taxpayer money, but the police officers do not. And I think that's a slap in our face. It's not very transparent on how they're spending our money as it relates to uniforms. And here we are. So Trustee Abraham, do you have any questions or comments?
Not at this time.
Trustee Senior?
No questions.
Trustee Chalmalave?
No questions.
Trustee Shelby?
I don't understand. They don't have to, you're saying that they don't have to get an approval to purchase uniforms or anything?
No. That's what I'm saying.
Okay.
Trustee Armour?
Is this, well, we don't know what the cost of anything is going to be, and we haven't planned for this. Am I understanding that correctly?
So no,
Madam Mayor?
we can plan for it. So if you look through the collective bargaining agreement, it has on page 18 in the agreement some of the outlines as it relates to what they prorates is as it relates to employee contribution for healthcare benefits, life insurance, educational tuition reimbursement, what it calls for probationary officers. Ms. Jones probably have more details as it relates to the percentages. I know the uniform allowance was included in this fiscal budget, and I think it was $750 that got increased, correct, Chief?
Yes, in our.
Can you come to the mic, because we streaming?
So when we do our projections for budget, we allocate money for uniforms based on what the collective bargaining agreement was at the time, which I believe was $750, or was it $700?
$750.
Right. So they increased it $200 more dating back to the signature of this contract. So it's in our budget, it is. What the mayor is saying is that, you know, when we look at transparency going forward, we're giving them this money for the purchase of new uniforms, things like that, but they do not have to provide any receipts. So if they do not buy any uniforms, they still are entitled to this $900.
Where would the money go if they don't use it for uniforms?
They could use it for whatever they wanted.
What?
That's the concern, I think, that the mayor was trying to state, is that they could use it for whatever they wanted.
Whatever they wanted. Huh.
But that said, this is part of an arbitration award.
Well, I think we all should account for our, you know, our budgets, and, you know, every department would have to, that's kind of weird, I never heard that before. Everything else passes through the board, doesn't it? Or through the operations, you know, whoever oversees the department, right? So it would be in your hands, Chief, right? And you can approve up to a certain amount, right? But
So-
they would have to tell us how much, what they are spending the money
So,
for.
Trustee Armour, the arbitrator sided with the police officers saying that they did not have to provide receipts. We have accounted for this in our budget, so the chief has it in his budget to pay out when they turn in they reimbursable forms, he'll turn it in and then we'll pay out the $950. Once it go to arbitration, and we went to arbitration with them on this matter because I believe in being transparent, and by them being in law enforcement, I would expect them to have public trust as well. But since the arbitrator sided with the police officers, this is where we are. So regardless of where we feel in our emotions on what's right and what's wrong and what's transparent and what's public trust, we still have to pay for this. So it's allocated in the budget for the police department to pay out this $950 for uniform reimbursement. Now, I will say this, in true transparency, I will hold the chief accountable if we see anyone in a uniform that's inappropriate. They are to spend the money to take care of the uniform that they need. They clothes should fit properly, they should be clean, and that's between the leadership and the police department to ensure that our tax dollars are being spent appropriately and that they are held accountable And I'm demanding and commanding accountability when it comes to how they look in a uniform.
Absolutely. Okay. So we will be able to obtain the receipts after the money is spent, because, you know, we need to have a
No.
receipt for like our
No,
records for.
no. Trustee Armour, no. The arbitrator said no. They don't have to.
That doesn't make sense, because, I mean,
It
when the
don't.
auditors come in to look at our books, you know, they're gonna be looking for a receipt for this particular
So what's gonna
expense.
happen is the police officer is gonna turn in a reimbursement, say like when you go on travel, right? And you spend money out of your pocket, you turn in a reimbursable, but typically we turn in our receipts.
Correct.
But they just turn in a form, a village-approved form for reimbursement. They'll give it to the chief will sign off on it. We'll put it with the payables, and the board will approve it through our, how we pay bills.
And hopefully we'll see them in appropriate uniform, right?
Well, they're appropriate now, but it's certain things that we're gonna be looking at to hold them accountable, because they have to be accountable. As an employee of the Village of Broadview, in whatever department you work in, you will be held accountable, because if I'm held accountable and this board of trustees is held accountable, everybody down will be held accountable.
Yeah. That's interesting. I've never heard that before. Never.
And you have any other questions, Trustee Armour?
No.
Trustee Miller?
I don't have a huge issue with, I guess, the logic behind it now, since we're in arbitration and we gotta go through with it. But just for clarity, it looks like the detectives get a different amount than the officers, right? So theirs has $350 versus $900 for officers. Is the 900 so would they get the $350 in addition to the 900? So detectives would get $1,250?
Yes, ma'am.
Okay. And then it's 900, not 950, because we've cited two different amounts.
Officer Neal, do you know what the number is?
Yes, Mayor. The original amount, I believe, was $730, and then the arbitrator, we went to, it was $900, is the total amount for patrol officers.
Okay, so I guess that would be a concern, like, what would a detective need that's totally different from
Well, the
officer?
detectives wear plain clothes,
Yeah.
shirt, ties. Of course, uniforms are pretty standard price, clear across the board, versus uniforms. They can be washed and pressed, versus some of your personal clothes may require your cleaning by way of a dry cleaners. But if I could just add, so as I do agree with the mayor and the trustees, when I got here, the officers received their uniform check, but they also had the quartermaster system in place, which meant they could get free uniforms on top of getting this check, which I consider was double dipping. Because if you mess up your uniform, and you can just come in and give it to the deputy chief or one of the lieutenants and say, I need a new shirt, and we ordered from Ray O'Hammer's or one of the uniform providers, they still do not have to touch their $730. So that was immediately cut out the quartermaster system. So now I do ensure the mayor and the trustees and the residents that we will be one of the finest dressed departments as it pertains to appearance. Because I do believe in transparency as well.
Okay. And then, Attorney, just in this longevity schedule, section 30.2, I just need us to make sure that we have all of our I's dotted and our T's crossed. So after completion of 25 years of service, an officer shall receive a one-time longevity increase of 0.35%.
Yeah, you know, it's pretty funny. I literally just noticed that and
Yeah.
emailed Brian, the attorney who.
Yeah, so I don't want them thinking they're getting
Yeah, so we'll-
35%.
We'll make
It
sure
should be-
that, that's obviously a Scrivener's error, because all the other longevity boosts, and I think you can agree with this, are 0.25%, 0.5%, and then all of a sudden it says 0.35%. I think that's supposed to be 0.35.
Yeah, I believe it should, but, I mean, when you're going into a legal,
It has to be precise.
Agreed,
Contract,
so
I want
if
it
you,
fixed.
the board can do one of two things. You can either approve it with the caveat that that page needs to be changed. And that's honestly what I would recommend. If there's other Scrivener's errors, I mean, granted, we did have to go to, the village head did have to go to arbitration on this, but in my experience, working with the FOP, if there's a Scrivener's error, a typo, and there's a meeting of the minds, they're not usually trying to, use that and, use that over your head, and we're not doing that either. So there's typically, a decent give and take relationship where if they spot a Scrivener's error, they'll usually let us know, and vice versa. So it's funny, I had already emailed Brian Miller, the attorney that was working on this contract, to make sure that got corrected.
I would like for that to be called out as a correction, before we fully approve that. I need to see that that's corrected in there.
That's fine.
So, yeah, that's it. That was all, thank you.
So I will add this, one final thing, just for transparency, because we're having a transparent conversation as it relates to what we have to entertain. So in 2020, when we went into the pandemic, we gave no raises. The fire department took a 001. Police, we had to go to arbitration on the salary. No one got raises that year. We have to retro pay the police department for 2021 for the 2.5%, 21, 3%, 22, 3.25%, and then 23, 3.25. So I want you all to know that we've done everything that we possibly could do. All the other employees didn't get a raise in 2020. But now we have to retro for the police department that took us to arbitration, and it's almost 3 years in. And now we just now ratifying this CBA. So we work really hard to make sure that we are accountable, and I'm talking about myself and the Board of Trustees are accountable to how we look at how taxpayers pay salaries and how we look at being fair. And when you could take all the employees, don't you think the fire department wanted a raise in 2020? And we was in the height of pandemic? Don't you think the other employees that worked here, that showed up every day during pandemic wanted a raise? They didn't get a raise. They didn't get a raise in 2020, and they didn't get a raise in 2021. But the police department, they took us to arbitration to get a 2.5, well, we have to retro back. 21, 3%. And May 1st, 2022, 3.25, and now we at 3.25. And then we'll be back at the bargaining table in 24. So I just want to be real clear on what that looked like for the Board of Trustees and to our residents. These are the battles that we have to fight on a regular basis with collective bargaining, and we want to be fair, and we want to treat people fair and right. But it's not just about one department, it's about several departments with people that have families. And we have to have that type of consideration. And we have excellent benefit packages that we offer to the police department and an educational package that they get. On top of all of that, guess what else we do, trustees? We pay the maximum into their pension plan. Since I've been in office, we've paid the maximum in a pension plan. We have not paid the minimum. We've paid the maximum. So to me, this was a slap in our face. It was a slap in our face, Broadview Police Department, the patrol. So with that being said, Mr. Clerk, can we get a roll call, please?
Yes, we can, Madam President. Trustee Abraham?
Madam Mayor, thank you for being very thorough in the explanation. And yes, I do side to what you have said, and I support that. I definitely want, our police department to be open. That's what we ask for, is the openness and honesty, and, to go to arbitration. I'm just, at this point, can you come back to me, clerk, because it's still, I'm not saying I'm unclear, but I think it's the word I want to use is uncomfortable and how I want to vote with this. Is that okay, Madam Mayor and Mr. Clerk?
Yes, trustee. Trustee Senior?
Yes.
Trustee Chalmalave? Trustee Shelby?
I don't know, because I do the invoices and I'm a little confused right now with this, so I'm just gonna have to do this later.
Okay, trustee Armour?
Did you abstain on that one?
Yeah,
that
it's
what I
just
heard?
that when I do the finances and I look for invoices, it's saying that I'm no longer gonna need an invoice for this particular item, right?
You won't need receipts.
Receipts, okay. Okay, yes,
Is
So
that a
are you
yes vote?
voting?
yes.
Okay.
Thank you.
Trustee Armour?
Abstain.
Trustee Miller?
Yes.
Trustee Abraham, we back at you.
Abstain.
And Madam President, this carries 4-0 with 2 abstentions. Thank you. Next, item O, consideration of an application for a business license requested by the A&N team doing business as The View at 1701 West Roosevelt Avenue in the Village of Broadview, County of Cook, State of Illinois.
Motion.
Motion to approve.
Second.
It's been properly motioned by Trustee Senior, seconded by Trustee Miller. Madam President?
Thank you. So I think most of the trustees have visited The View now that they're open, and I hope you've had a good experience. So, Mr. Hannah, you want to tell us about The View?
Sure thing, Madam President. The View, located at 1701 West Roosevelt Road, is in compliance with all village codes and ordinances, and therefore has been issued a certificate of occupancy. I'll obtain any questions at this time.
Thank you. Trustee Abraham, you have any questions?
No, welcome. I'm glad you're open.
Trustee Senior? No questions. Trustee Chalmalave? Trustee Shelby?
No questions.
Trustee Armour?
They have really good catfish there. No questions or comments. I mean, that was a comment.
Trustee Miller?
No questions.
Mr. Clerk?
Roll call. Trustee Abraham.
Yes.
Trustee Chamalave.
Yes.
Chamalave?
Yes.
Okay, thanks. Trustee Senior.
Yes.
Trustee Shelby.
Yes.
Trustee Armour.
Yes.
Trustee Miller.
Yes.
And this carries 6-0. Thank you all. And if you could be so kind, trustees, can we please speak directly into the mic so not only I can hear you, but the recording can pick you up? Thank you. Next is item P, consideration of an application for a business license requested by the Red Door Meeting Place at 1519-21 West Roosevelt Avenue. It's Roosevelt Road, actually, in the Village of Broadview, County of Cook, State of Illinois.
Motion to approve.
Second.
Thank you. It's been properly motioned by Trustee Senior, seconded by Trustee Armour. Madam President?
Thank you. Another Roosevelt Road business that's finally open. Trustee Abraham, you have any questions or comments?
Yes, I'm glad to welcome aboard, and I'm glad they're finally open, so that's going to be amazing.
Thank you. Trustee Senior?
No questions.
Trustee Chalmalave?
I had a good time. No questions.
Trustee Shelby?
No questions.
Trustee Armour?
Question, when are they gonna have, like, the procedures to, get a membership there? Do you know?
You would have to call the Red Door Meeting Place for that. I don't know that answer.
Yeah, they're taking memberships, I hear. No questions. No questions.
Thank you. Trustee Miller?
I forgot to ask this in the last one too. Will they have a liquor license?
Yes.
Both?
Yes.
Okay. Thank you. That was it.
That's kinda
Mr.
late.
Clerk, can we get a roll call?
Roll call. Trustee Abraham.
Yes.
Trustee Chamalave.
Yes.
Trustee Senior.
Yes.
Trustee Shelby.
Yes.
Trustee Armour.
Yes.
Trustee Miller.
Yes.
This carries 6-0, Madam President. Thank you all. Item Q, consideration of an application for a business license requested by the Print Lab 2.0 at 1819 West Roosevelt Road in the Village of Broadview, County of Cook, State of Illinois.
Motion to approve. Second.
Okay, wait. I don't try to confuse me today.
We both spoke at the exact same time. Motion to approve.
And I seconded, and then she came in.
Motion by trustee Miller, seconded by trustee Armour. For the record, it's been properly motioned by trustee Miller, seconded by trustee Armour. Madam President, open for discussion.
Well, I see the Print Lab 2.0 is in the audience tonight, Mr. Skip.
Oh, wonderful.
And so we've been using some of his services for the Village of Broadview print, and so we're happy that you're here in town. Trustee Abraham, you have any questions or comments?
None, and welcome to the community.
Thank you. Trustee Senior?
No questions. Welcome.
Trustee Chalmalave?
Welcome.
Trustee Shelby?
No questions, welcome.
Trustee Armour?
Yeah, I have one question for you. Where's the owner? Okay, hi. All right, so
You want to come to the microphone?
according to the federal and state licenses, this business is located in Westchester. That's what's on the documents and not in Broadview. And I didn't see a doing business as or another name on there. There seems to be a different business at the 1819 Roosevelt Road, and it's called, it's called something different. So it's SIP something, SIP painting or
Sip and
colors.
Create.
Yeah, I was totally confused. I'm not following. So can you help?
So let me answer that before you answer. So Sip and Paint moved. The property is owned by a different owner that owns the property that leases it out to small businesses. The Print Lab came, they moved from a different location, which was in Westchester, so they probably haven't updated, but they can move anywhere in the state because they are on record with the state of Illinois. So the Sip and Paint, they left, and then the owners of the property released it to the Print Lab.
Okay.
They just have to change their name.
They just, right.
I understood what you said, Mayor. Thank you.
You're welcome. So you want to talk about you coming from Westchester to Broadview?
Oh, it's a pleasure. I grew up here, so I'm honored to be a part of Broadview Strong. Something
I like that, Broadview
I wear
Strong.
proudly now. So it's always a pleasure to work with the mayor, and you know, she's a beautiful person. She always take care of the business. I know a lot of people in Broadview, so I'm honored, and that's my buddy there too. So, so I'm familiar with a lot of faces, and like I say, it's a pleasure. Plus, we in downtown Broadview now, so we get a lot more walk-ins, and
Downtown Broadview.
we getting a lot of good stuff going on. So we're here to stay.
Here to stay. I like that too. Anything else, Trustee Armour?
I live downtown. It's not even a block away from where I live, right? And so when I saw that, I was totally confused. But thank you for the clarification.
Oh, no problem.
No further questions or comments.
Thank you. Trustee Miller?
Now that you let kind of the cat out of the hat a little bit, I'm always excited when my friends and family decide to come to Broadview and bring that revenue for those businesses that they're opening up into our community, especially when those same business owners grew up in the neighborhood and people know them. So that part kind of works. I was one of the people that literally was in the Print Lab a few years ago, like, yep, you need to come down to Broadview. I know Commissioner Upshaw isn't here, but he's one that I always be like, is there something available, or do you know anything? So I'm an advocate for bringing as many businesses as we can to our downtown corridor, or just any part of Broadview, and those businesses that employ our young people make me feel good. So I've been following the Print Lab, or Skip, or his real name, Hobart, for years on social media. And when I saw younger people that I knew working there, it kind of reminded me of Mrs. Jones, where she's always like, we're gonna have a summer program, we're gonna have this program and that program. So for them to learn about printing products and media and just anything with design feels good to see. So thank you for employing younger people. I mean, us seasoned people too. But just to see them off the street and not having to deal with certain issues, and plus they can get out of their parents' pockets too. Thank you for that. But welcome to Broadview. I hope you're here to stay for ages and ages and ages, as well as all our new businesses. Thanks for coming.
No problem.
Thank you, Trustee Miller. Welcome to Broadview Strong. Mr. Clerk?
Roll call, Trustee Abraham.
Yes.
Trustee Chamalave.
Yes.
Trustee Senior.
Yes.
Trustee Shelby.
Yes.
Trustee Armour.
Yes.
Trustee Miller.
Yes.
This carries 6-0. Thank you all.
Support small local businesses in the Village of Broadview.
Yes. Okay, next is item 10, application for the authority to expend funds. We have none. Bringing us to item 11, Village Clerk's Report. Got a few things. First of all, thank you, Ms. Jones, for the summer youth program. We look forward to this each year. And the clerk's office certainly can use the additional help for the summer in organizing the office, getting things filed. And more than all of that, I enjoy teaching young people about civic duty and the clerk's office. And, you know, at the end of the summer, I usually have my intern to write about what they learned. And if you go to my office, you'll see framed what I think is very important, some of the writings of some past interns. So I look forward to that, and I look forward to a productive summer. I am proud to say that we do have the new opening of the Red Door and the View. I was at the grand opening at the Red Door. It was well attended, and it's a beautiful space. They have services for a lot of different activities, such as weddings, banquets, and other activities. You should really look into the Red Door for your next activity or event. The View is a beautiful restaurant and bar. I was at the View probably more times than I've been to any entity within the past 2 weeks. They have excellent food, very good accommodations. They always look forward to serving their clientele and always want to make sure that they took good care of you. So the View is a beautiful spot, and I recommend everyone try it at least once. Last Friday, the mayor and I and a couple of our elected officials, Ms. Jones, and all of our summer youth attended the Greentown Conference held at Triton College. Greentown was very impressive, and you know, it's something that's very important that people may have heard a little bit about. If you don't know anything about it, I urge you to look up Greentown. I urge you to also be involved and learn what the C4 Cross-Community Climate Collaborative is all about. And basically, Mayor Thompson, along with 2 other mayors in our local area, Oak Park and also River Forest, have spearheaded this collaborative, which deals with sustainability goals, greenhouse gas, and emissions reduction. And it's all about what we can do for our future. And it may not look like something that's going to be effective right this moment. To me, it does, because I see some changes now with our climate, with our emissions, and some of the other things that are killing us slowly. But it's all about the future and making sure that we have good community and good air quality for our future residents. So that's very important. And Mayor Thompson, I'm serious when I say I want to get more involved with this, because this is very, very important.
Do the work, you can get involved.
Yes, ma'am. Yes, ma'am. That's what I look forward to. Juneteenth. We had an excellent Juneteenth celebration this past, well, actually now 2 weekends ago. I got to give a special shout out to our safety team. They did a tremendous job, and that's not to say that the other entities involved did not do a good job. We had a very committed committee, and we started planning this back in January, and I'm so proud to be a part of that committee, which made this our 3rd successful event in a row. And going back to the safety team, we only had 2 minor issues, and if you blink, you missed them, because you didn't even notice how great they handled these 2 minor issues. I felt safe, I had fun, and that's all the village residents want, is to enjoy good music, good food and entertainment, and feel safe while doing it. And we certainly pulled that off this year. Mayor Thompson, I want to thank you personally for leading us through another successful event. And that concludes my report for tonight.
Thank you, Mr. Clerk.
Next, item 12, Village President, Mayor Katrina Thompson.
So we're gonna be here for about another 40 minutes, because we only meet once a month. No, I'm just kidding. So I do want to say this before I get started. I have to acknowledge Trustee Chalmalave. She got appointed to the Human Development Federal Advocacy Committee through NLC, and that's a big deal, because we're a small community, so let's give her a round of applause. That's a big deal. When you sit on federal committees, such as the Human Development or any federal committee that's through the NLC, it's a big deal for us because our population size is just a little bit under 8,000. And when we sit on these committees, we're able to get the information, bring the resources back home, and then execute a plan. So I'm happy that you're part of a advocacy committee that can bring resources, not just to the Village of Broadview, but to the Proviso Township, because we like to share the information that we get with our other community partners. So thank you for taking the lead and being a leader and getting engaged and involved. I appreciate it a lot. Thank you. So Clerk McGreal touched a little bit on Greentown in the C4 initiative, and C4 is the Cross Community Climate Collaborative. And that's a collaboration with 3 mayors. I'm one of them, Mayor Aducci from the Village of River Forest and Mayor Skaman from the Village of Oak Park. And so we got together with our other community partners and signed an MOU this time last year, so we on our 1-year anniversary. And we signed this MOU to talk about the reduction of greenhouse emissions, healthy homes, how we can reduce asthma inside homes. But we focus on the Black and brown community and those that's in poor communities so that we can be able to give resources. When you look at the Village of River Forest and Oak Park, they have sustainability coordinators, they have sustainability directors, so they have a whole department that manage that. When you look at a community like the Village of Broadview, we don't have that. And so to partner with them, and there's a lot of other communities that don't have that type of department within their own capacity. And so we share our resources, and it's a lot of hand-holding with this. So we work with 2 consultants, 7 Generations, Gary Cunin, and Urban Efficiency Group with Darnell Johnson. And we work with the consultants to kind of streamline best practices for us. I will say this, that like on the EV, it's a lot of different things that take place in the environmental space. But I'm most passionate about those that impact air quality because I had a cousin that died at the age of 10. So that's where my heart is near and dear, and being engaged on how we can look at to reduce that or come up with some solutions with how we look at air quality. But I will say this, we focus on solar paneling, EV charging stations, green infrastructure, flooding mitigation, stormwater infrastructure. So it's a lot of different things that impact our climate. And in the Black community, particularly the Black community, those are the things that's low on the radar. We have so many prevalent issues that impact our community that we don't focus on the environment. And now that we're at the table and we're having some strong, intentional conversations on how we can impact, how we can get resources, and how we can share our resources to be stronger together in these areas, it only helps us all. So Chief Martin, he sits on some of the committees that I'm on, especially with the EV charging station, because that's new technology to us, right? And because it is so new, what if something catch on fire? And so the fire department is engaged with that on how we, in case a crisis happening here in town when we get our EV charging stations, or if we decide that we want to go to electric vehicle with our own vehicles, how do we engage and how do we rectify some of those issues that may come up? So he's been heavily engaged in that conversation, and I'm sure learning a lot of different things that I didn't even think of because I just drive a car. So I thank you for your leadership on that. And then with the building department, Commissioner Upshaw, even though he has a very small department, they are engaged with how we look at the solar panel. And I know Mr. Hanna has been to some certification class to get some certifications up under his belt as it relates to solar paneling. A couple of years ago, the board approved ordinances as it relates to how we install solar paneling, whether it's residential, commercial, or industrial. So the building department is dealing with all the codes, the fire department as well on some of the codes because it impacts them as well. And so even tonight, we approved the MWRD to get our parking lot, a green infrastructure parking lot. So that's all a part of the environmental issues that we face and things on how we could do better. And we are doing better with a small team, but together we are very, very mighty. I promise you, people think we about 100,000 people in, and we only 8,000. SBC Waste Solutions, we did change our waste hauler contract. And we did get some complaints on not picking up, but as soon as we called them, they was out there rectifying that. So Director Haynes was on point with that, on what that looked like. Now, I don't know how many of you all know that we do have a Broadview Freedom School. In Broadview, it's at Lindop School. And so those that don't know what the Freedom School is all about, this was in Mississippi in the 60s, when black children didn't have access to read. So during the summer months, they would all get together and have literacy, literacy reading activities for the children to do. And we have that here in Broadview so that we don't lose our culture and we don't lose our history. And so they teaching that. So even though it's at Lindop School, right now only Lindop students in this first class were the only ones that's participating, but it's open to the Proviso Township. So we were very instrumental. The Village of Broadview was very instrumental on the Lindop School even getting a grant. So I think the grant was like $355,000, and we utilized our grant writer to help them get the grant to fund it so they could do it. So they do have a social media page on Facebook and on Twitter. I would encourage you all to like their page to see what's going on. They put up these different activities that take place every week. And I think this is week 4 for them. It's a 6-week program, but go like their page, go look at the videos, go see what the children are doing within it. They do a community garden. The classrooms are designed to do different things. They have media there that's teaching them journalism and how to write a newspaper. So they're doing a lot of different activities. I talked to Dr. Betts, who's the curriculum person over at the school. They are looking for readers to read for the month of July. I know Clerk Begrier was there a couple of weeks ago. I was there last week. So if you want to volunteer, I'll try to get the schedule from them to see what the open slots is for that. But if you would like to go see what it's about, just take a tour. It's phenomenal. And I'm so glad that it's right here in Broadview. And we're the only one in our region that have it. It was 78 schools that got awarded, and one of them was right here in Broadview. So that's commendable to the Board of Education and Superintendent Jackson over at Lindop School. Proviso East all-class alumni cookout is taking place Saturday, July 8th. I think you're going to have to follow them on social media. I just told them I would make the announcement that that's coming up. I'm not an alumni, I'm honorary. Pirate. We will be closed on July 4th for the 4th of July. And then Juneteenth. So I don't watch the news, so I don't really know what's happening until I read the newspaper or somebody send me a text with some information. But I was very pleased to say that our Juneteenth celebration was very successful. We had no incidents, not one. No one got sick, and we didn't have no indiscretionable things that's been taking place that was displayed through media or social media. It was a well-attended, well-organized event. Some of the things that I got was that it was very organized. And that's a huge plus to the committee. The committee consists of the library, the park district, Lindop, the village, and then myself and the clerk. And we talked every 2 weeks. We had meetings every 2 weeks to make sure that we was on point with everything. I do want to give a shout out to Detective Clayton. He is phenomenal. He is. He was very, very intentional on the security mechanism and at every detail as it relates to the fencing, the extra security that we had to hire to keep us safe and to keep us happy during that day. So kudos to him. He worked extremely hard, and during this time while we were planning, he was in class teaching at the academy, correct? So it was one of those situations. He's teaching at an academy, but he's actually executing a plan for all of us to follow. I will say this, we do everything with a safety committee. So those that have been to a safety committee meeting, you know it's intentionally hard, because I had to go before the committee to get a whole bunch of questions asked of me, and most of the committee people were on the bench. So I didn't understand that concept, but it's one of their process that they do, and so we follow, what's best practices are. But we got through it. We will be sending out a survey to, get some feedback from residents, the board, or anyone that attended Juneteenth. So I know that we're working on that to get some feedback, but it was well attended by the Board of Trustees. We all participated. We maybe not at the same time or anything like that, but I did see a lot of happy faces and a lot of good time that had taken place. And the vendors, I'm assuming they made financial economic empowerment, because that's what Juneteenth is for us, is to empower people to do more with the resources that they have. So it was an honor to be able to bless people to participate, and they sell a good and they happy with the good that was purchased. So on this note, I will say this, all of our sponsors, when you pull off a big event, our budget is limited to what we can do. The partners, we all asked the partners to put up $10,000 to get us some seed money so that we could pull off a great event. And then our sponsors came through for us in a huge way, where we were able to do a really nice event. I like the Kiddie Land where it was at. I think the kids had more fun than everybody there because they was on those jumbo slides. The only thing is that we need volunteers to help us manage that. And although we had workers, you can't, well, you could, but I don't think it's right or fair to have people just sitting out in the blaring sun for 8 hours and no rest and no breaks and stuff like that. So we tried to break it up to where they work either every 2 hour shifts so that they get a break, they can move around and be able to, enjoy some of the entertainment that took place. But we're grateful for our sponsors. Our key sponsors was SBC Waste Solutions and Proviso Community Bank. They were our title sponsors for Juneteenth, and we're grateful for them, but we're grateful for all of the sponsors that participated. And so what they all got, and the Board of Trustees will get this as well, and I don't know if they can zoom into this, but it's this plaque. So all of the sponsors that sponsored title sponsorships, economic spot, whatever the different titles were, they got this plaque to show members of what we do in the Village of Broadview and how we treat people and how we just really just so grateful that they honored us. And this is something that was done by an artist that Keith Caldwell knows. And it's I'm gonna just sit right here. I don't know. I gotta get a stand. So I do want to present the Board of Trustees with one.
Thank you.
And Mr. Clerk?
This is nice.
So everything that I do, I can't do anything by myself. I literally have a team. I have a team that I can work with. I have a team that trusts me to get the job done. And sometimes we may not all get along. But when it's time to take care of the business of the Village of Broadview, this is when you see the strength of us come together, and we work together very well when it's time to get business done. And anything else, we just, try to put it behind us and just keep moving forward. And we work really, really hard, super hard in the Village of Broadview to deliver, to show you all what leadership really looks like. We have an amazing village administrator. She works extremely hard, and I know she got to be extremely happy that we have Director Hood here on a full-time basis. He even worked, even Juneteenth, he was out there working with his staff that he have as it relates to how we collect money, and we are stepping into the technology of what things look like for us as we sell goods inside the community. Like we had things where people that didn't have cash, they could pay with a credit card. So Director Hood, he made sure all of that took place, and then his right-hand person, Ms. Jones, and was there, helping streamline some things. So we're happy that you're here, Director Hood, more than you probably know. He have a story every day. And then we have our police chief, who leads an amazing team with amazing leadership with Deputy Chief Smith on board. They do a great job for us in Broadview. And then with Acting Chief Martin, even though he's acting, he's not acting. He's amazing. He does a really good job in the fire department to, make sure that people are safe and they can get to where they need to be in an emergency. And then we have Commissioner Upshaw that kind of overlooked the building. And like I said, the building department is the building that is probably outside of the fire department, the busiest department we have, because they have to responsible for title transfers, building codes, inspections, complaints, permits. I mean, they really do a lot with with limited staff. So it's what's within our budget that we can afford, but they do an amazing job with that. And then our Public Works Department, they keep our streets clean, they keep the area clean, they do very well with trees, like when we had the storms, I think there was some trees on it, they got to take care of that, the garbage, they make sure all of those things. So I'm grateful for Director Ames and the position that all of our leaders have in the Village of Broadview, that we do deliver a good product for you all, and we work extremely hard. I mean, probably harder than any other town, and it shows. And I can proudly say that it shows. It really do show the leadership that we have with the Board of Trustees and with Clerk McGreer. He's my co-chair on the committee, so he was responsible for the stage, the music, and, we went back and forth a couple of times with that because I love hip-hop. And he like house. And so we had to come to a happy medium that, we're going to recognize 50 years of hip-hop this year. So you did a great job, Mr. Clerk, and I appreciate you honoring that and just recognizing me being from the state of California and all the West Coast hip-hops. I heard some really good music last weekend, and I'm grateful for that. So thank you. It took me back home when I was in high school. So I appreciate that. Maisha. She's at the Park District. If you don't know her, that's someone you should know. She is an amazing entertainer. She is an amazing entertainer. She kept the crowd, she kept the party going. I don't even think she took a break. But her presence in the community, and sometimes you pay for services to get that type of talent. And we're blessed in Broadview that we have talent within our own community. And I'm not talking about the township. I'm talking about right here at home in Broadview that we have talent that we get to share with the world. And she did that Juneteenth weekend. So we was grateful to have her for a second year doing the Juneteenth and maybe the third year. But if she get too big, I don't know. She might not come back home, y'all. So we got to kind of tame her. But she is amazing. But I'm grateful for all of our partners. And for so long, and I know Trustee Miller can attest to this, for so long we were so divided as it relates to our taxing bodies with our park district, our library, the school. We wasn't connected. And I can truly say we are all connected. We all work together. We all share the resources. It's not just on the responsibility of the municipality like it's always been in the past. Everybody stepped up to the plate. So I'm grateful for the leadership on those respective boards as it relates to Juneteenth. Now, we are getting ready for the Hispanic Heritage Month celebration, and that's another collaboration and partnership with the Broadview Park District. So that's going to be held on September 23rd. So any Latinos or Hispanics that want to participate and give us some ideas on what we should be doing to honor you, I don't know what that is because I'm black. I celebrate Juneteenth, but I celebrate everybody because I love everyone. I do. But I know what I know. And so I like to stay in my lane, but I'm open to ideas. I'm sure Director Dawson at the Park District is going to be very open to having some conversation with folks on what you want to see, what we should have, and those types of things. So that's September 23rd. Our next board meeting, we meet once a month, and I think we did pretty good tonight with all of the agenda items on the agenda tonight. Thank you, trustees, for getting your questions answered prior to the board meeting. That helps us streamline some things to take care of that, so thank you for that. Our next board meeting is on Monday, July 17th. We on the summer schedule, so July 17th is our next regular board meeting, but I'm grateful and honored to be able to serve in the Village of Broadview. It's not easy work, but it's the work that I love to do, and that's just do the work. So, like Mr. Clerk, he want to get on environmental. I don't babysit. You got to do the work because I got enough. I ain't got time to babysit. So with that being said, I'll call for a motion to adjourn.
So moved.
Second.
It's been properly motioned by Trustee Armour, seconded by Trustee Miller to adjourn this evening's meeting. All in favor say aye.
Aye.
All opposed say nay. I heard you, Trustee Abraham. Hearing no opposition, we are hereby adjourned at 9:37 p.m. Thank you all. Have a great evening.
Thank you, and God bless you.